There is no shortage of financial advice on TikTok, but when it comes to paying off debt, a lot of what's out there isn't just wrong, it's dangerous. I've been an accountant for over 10 years now and personally paid off $43,000 worth of debt in just over a year. And today I'm reacting to some of the worst debt advice that TikTok has to offer, breaking down what actually could work for you if you want to pay off your debt a little faster without destroying your life. Let's get into it.
Tips and tricks for young girls that are in their late teens, early 20s, such as I.
Aggressive.
Open a Cash Rewards credit card.
Oh God.
I opened my Cash Rewards credit card back in September, and the amount of money I've made on money I was going to spend anyway is obscene. And at first I only used it for like gas and groceries, but I'm getting groceries right now and I like to have it like mostly paid off before I get groceries again. And I was looking, I have $85 sitting in there right now. And that's money I've made on money I was going to spend anyway.
Okay.
Like I'm not making crazy, like I'm 22, I'm not making any crazy obscene purchases. And then I was thinking to myself, you know, I did buy all the Christmas gifts for everyone in my family and my boyfriend's family on this credit card. So how much did I make? I made almost $300 at Christmas time just by using this credit card.
Wait.
And next month, I graduate with my master's, and I will be using that $85 to buy myself a little treat for all my hard work.
Congrats on graduating your master's. Hopefully you had a nice scholarship to help pay for it. But okay, we got to run the numbers. She made $300 in cash back just from buying Christmas presents. Let's assume that she had a great cash back percentage of 3%. Probably not, but let's say best case scenario. That means she spent over $10,000 for Christmas presents? Whatever happened to a nice $50 Secret Santa? She seemed very proud and excited for herself, so it's kind of hard to be mean here. Just opening a credit card to get the cash back isn't necessarily an awesome selling point. You end up spending dollars to make pennies, or in this case, thousands to make hundreds. Just because you can buy something doesn't mean that you should.
Are you looking for some ways to free up some cash?
I'm listening.
I just made my last car payment by doing one simple thing. 3 weeks ago,
suspense is
I
killing
still
me.
owe $10,000 on my car.
Wait, is he the one trying?
This week,
There's so much eye
I
contact.
still owe $10,000 on my car. I'm just not paying for that motherfucker.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, if that's your plan and this is the car that you're currently driving in, they're going to come take that thing. But honestly, maybe you do everyone a favor that you share the road with. Guys, quick PSA, don't drive distracted. Speaking of favors, hit that subscribe button if you're liking this reaction style content.
As a follow-up to your question, I needed to kind of create an example. So follow along. This is really generic. I don't know your numbers. So if you come over here and you look at our graph, we've got $5,000 a month as income, $3,000 a month in expenses. I don't care where you stand. If you think that you're spending all $5,000 a month, look at my last video. You can see ways that we can actually cut that back. But I just needed a big number so you can see it shift quickly. So we come over here. Let's say you're maxed out at your credit card at $15,000. So boom, we start here right now. If you deposit $5,000 of your income, you drop how much balance is there, and then the bank will accrue the interest at this rate. Once it's been accrued, then you spend $3,000, and then you end your month at that point. The next month, boom, you drop it again. Accrue your interest at this point, spend your $3,000. Boom. And you just keep doing that. And so after several months, you will actually zigzag your way to paying off $15,000 in debt in just a few months, and you didn't have to spend any extra money or save money to do it.
Or in this example, you could just use the $2,000 that you had in cash flow towards your debt. Am I missing something? If you have cash flow, put it towards your financial goals, whether it's saving money, paying off debt, etc. If you don't, then you need to create a budget, do a 3-month look back of all your expenses, see kind of where all your money has been going, what your spending habits are, then create new budgeted amounts for all new categories based on how much money you make and the things that matter to you the most.
Love it. I know your credit card bill is high. Okay, so listen to me. Lock in.
I'm
this
locked
is how
in.
we're going to save money and also get that dopamine hit, because oftentimes we don't really want the thing. We want the dopamine we've attached to it.
Nice.
Oh no, I love a list. And this is my list titled Impulse Avoidance. And here's how it goes. So this is the thing that I wanted. The thing that I almost impulse bought, added to cart, almost checked out. The day that I found it or added it to cart, and then how much it was. If your list gets long like mine, you're not going to shame yourself, right? Because we live in an age where we're constantly being sold to. That is not your fault, but it is your responsibility to make sure you keep yourself in track for your financial goals. At the end of the month, my date here is wrong. You're going to add up this entire column of everything it would have cost. This month alone, and the month is not over, I almost impulse bought $750 worth of stuff. So at the end of the month, whatever my number adds up to, I'm going to divide it in half. Half is going to go into savings. Half I'm going to do whatever I want with. Half is important because you're honoring your commitment to save and then also rewarding yourself for that. And that is where the dopamine hit comes from. And with that half you're keeping, this is the time to go through your list and see, after you've sat on it for a little bit, if there's anything you actually do want. Let's keep our savings account.
Interesting, but what are we rewarding ourselves for? Only buying half of the stuff that we actually wanted? I like the idea of gamifying a financial goal. I think it's great, but I think this idea could get a little dangerous. What happens when this impulse list keeps going higher and higher and higher, and you're saving half and you're spending half, but you get to a point where you're spending, you have to dip into your savings to be able to buy all the crazy stuff that you want to buy. So I like the idea, but maybe we just try to have a little more self-control.
I hope this gets out to the right person today, because this is seriously going to change your life. If you want to stop making credit card companies rich, then you need to watch this video. The average American has $6,000 in credit card debt, and if that's at 24.99% interest, we are paying over $124 a month for nothing. Now, I paid off $40,000 of debt in 18 months using my signature process, the ICE debt repayment strategy. Let's go through those steps right now so I can teach you how to save money on your debt and pay it off faster. So step one is illuminate. We want to shed light on our debt. We want to understand how much debt we have, who we owe it to, what the minimum payments are, what the interest rates are. List those all out. And we are going to put our debts in order from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, and we are going to pay them off in that order. We're going to go ham, putting more money on the higher interest rate debt while still making the minimum payments on the others. This will result in the biggest savings. Okay, so then step two, this is where we are going to cut costs. We are going to lower the amount of interest that we have to pay on those debts so that we pay them off faster and we save more money. You're going to start by calling your credit card companies and asking them to reduce your rate. Now, if you don't get a yes, the next step is going to be to start researching balance transfer cards. This is a special card that allows you...
No, you had me. I thought for some reason that a good financial advice TikTok was actually thrown into this mix accidentally, but my goodness. Guys, balance transfers are like the hamster wheel of death. They sound super enticing, but they're just a money pit. Check your past emails right now and search for the words balance transfer and see just how many offers you're getting from these companies. Why? Because it's a great deal for them. They lure people in with a 0% promo period, knowing full well that the majority of people aren't going to pay off their debt in that amount of time. And then whoosh, the interest rate shoots up again. But don't worry, you can just do another balance transfer, right? Every time you transfer from card to card, you're adding an extra 3 to 4% of fees on top of the debt that you already owe. And sometimes there's additional fees after 60 or 90 days. You got to read the terms really carefully. And instead of focusing on a solid debt repayment strategy, you end up focusing on when your promo periods end, when you have to sign up for that new balance transfer to keep the 0% going, and it's just brutal. Hard pass for me. I like the sign already.
Avoiding debt at all costs is some of the worst financial advice I've ever heard. Not all debt is bad debt. You have to educate yourself on the good debt and what's bad debt. Bad debt would be getting high interest rate credit cards and not paying them off. Good debt would be getting a home, getting a car. Having debt is not a bad thing. Most of us cannot afford to pay for a home or a vehicle loan up front. We need to borrow money in order to get these things that we want to have in the future. The thing is, you want to make sure you're borrowing within your means. If you're only making $40,000 a year, you cannot afford a $400,000 home. That's way outside of your means. You want to focus on the good debt because it helps build your credit and it helps you understand money management and build your financial confidence.
Okay. In society, we've gone from spending within our means to borrowing within our means, and that narrative it needs to stop immediately. Just because we can afford the payment that's tied to it does not mean that we should buy the thing. I just think the thoughts that this guy have sort of resemble what a lot of people think. Like, for example, that going into debt for a car is good debt. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be Dave Ramsey and say no debt at all, because I don't think that's realistic, but I understand where he's coming from. He's on the extreme end. I think we have to meet somewhere in the middle. But don't just assume that the only way to get stuff is by going into debt. We have to find a better financial solution, because going into debt is the least efficient thing that we can do with our money.
Y'all ever see something on social media and it resonates with you so much, you just get tickled? I just saw a post where someone asked the question, what is the strangest thing you've ever done for money? And one of the respondents said, I took out a loan to pay for school so that I could get a job to pay off my student loans. I felt it in my bones. So I'm in the same situation.
That's amazing. This lady that was awesome. That was so cool. Her energy was awesome. But it's true. Is higher education worth it anymore for most people? I graduated college about 15 years ago, and as time passes, I keep wondering if it was worth it. That's it, guys, for this one. If you like this kind of content, let me know, or you could just check out this one here.